Somebody asked me a question. They go, Sills, how would you use all of this talent? What would be the best way for you to use all of these players? And show me a system that you would come up with. I think it's smart because what you're hearing now is you're hearing a lot of players and people bitching about what they saw and what they have seen for 19 games. It's fair to ask the question, okay, smartass, how would you fix it? Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy, Big Sills. Please hit the like button. We appreciate it. I like the question that somebody asked me here. By the way, we got some topics that we're going to hit on. My friend, Pro Football Hall of Fame insider and voter, Jason Cole will be with us at 5:30 Eastern time. So we'll talk to him about tonight's Chiefs and Chargers game and also, too, about the NFC East. So we'll get with him. That will be in hour number 3 here. Somebody asked me a question. They go, Sills, how would you use all of this talent? What would be the best way for you to use all of these players? And show me a system that you would come up with. I think it's smart because what you're hearing now is you're hearing a lot of players and people bitching about what they saw and what they have seen for 19 games. It's fair to ask the question, okay, smartass, how would you fix it? I'm going to show you something here, and this is kind of what I've done. Hopefully you guys can see this. And hopefully I can put it up here to this extent here. This is called the 50 look. You put a guy on the nose, which I would think would be Jordan Davis, and you tilt him. See him here? This is a little bit of the old Steeler defense. And what the Steelers did with Mean Joe Green. I would cover the 2 guards. Then I would have Reddick as one of these guys. But Reddick would always be on the weak side. He would always be on the weak side of the defense. I would have the sidelines helping him. He'd be on the short side of the field, less coverage area. You don't want him in a wide side of the field. Why? Because they'll just run screens over him. He'll rush up, back out of the backfield. Where's your secondary help? Your linebackers here? You got linebackers here? Right here. See these 2? These backers are going to have to be active. They're going to have to be more in this gap and over here and more in this gap. But you see what Gannon does is he believes his linebackers are more important than the D-line. This defensive front here will control first down, which you struggle on for 19 games. When you have a front like this, you stop that first down. If you believe in your corners, by the way, to play a defense like this, you have to have exceptional corners. And you guys have been telling me that Bradbury and Slay are the best corners in the NFC East. Well, let's put that to the test. Gannon doesn't want to do that. He's afraid of that. His biggest fear is big plays, explosion plays. Plus 25 is what we used to call them. That's his biggest fears. He doesn't want to give the big play up. Hence the mentality, let's keep everything underneath. You're not going to beat a team like Minnesota with that mentality. Keep everything underneath. You thought those windows were wide open against the Packers? You wait until you see how big those windows are going to be up with 5 new guys playing on a defense that haven't gotten the quality reps they need yet. Here, and let me say this to you too. The Eagle defense will probably be better by week 9 than they are now, because they would have played together. Right now, they're not. It looks like a bunch of dudes, and I'm not going to say, and I'm not going to compare it. What year was that dream team? What year was that dream team? Because that's kind of what it looks like to me. Bunch of dudes that are put on a field and a lot of guys who don't know what they're doing. By the way, I see people going like this. It wasn't Jordan Davis's fault. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say he wasn't good. I'm saying he's fat and he's out of shape. They need more than 22 reps from him. Nobody's saying, by the way, I haven't said anybody on that defense is bad. How can you tell? I have said nobody's bad except Fletcher. He's out of gas. 19 ball games has made me come to the conclusion he's not a 14-4 guy. And if you come to any other conclusion, you're a homer and you really like the guy, and I get it. It's all good, man. Okay? Okay? Look at this idiot up here. I never freaking said he was bad, jackass. He's not out of shape, really. Every human being on the planet is saying that but you. End of story, guy. Last comment you get for a day. You're in the corner with the dunce hat. Now, exactly what I saw. Williams and Marlon T had more impact. Davis had one tackle, and they scored right over him in the goal line. You know, watch this. Fletcher wasn't bad. I don't want to ever hear that with a $14.4 million guy telling me Fletcher wasn't bad. Fletcher wasn't bad. You got to play Reddick into the sideline. You got to cover his weaknesses. Okay? You can't put him in wide open space. That's what offenses are going to try to do when he's on the field. Because Gannon's not moving him around enough. When you're a one-trick pony like Hassan Reddick is, you've got to move him around multiple. Okay? Multiple ways of moving him around to hide his deficiencies. Okay? Absolutely one above all. Hargrave too at his 12-7. He ain't getting a pass. He sucked out loud too. But again, this goes back to Gannon's system. They're asking him the two gap. The two guys are not committed. They're not committed to the defensive scheme that Gannon has. Isn't it evident? How could you not come away with 20 games and you look at your defensive front for 20 freaking games? Nobody is committed to that style of play. No one. No one's committed. When you're a two-gap slug and he's telling you to keep people off the backers, why in the world? Get this. Think about that. You got $30 million almost involved in two players up front, and you're asking them to do minimal work and the linebacking core, which is better, but not your strength, to be the heart and center of the defense. You're never going to win that way. And you're going to struggle on first down. That's where you're going to go. Okay? Let them get after the freaking quarterback. He's not a penetrating defensive coordinator. A system that I'm giving you here, this is like Buddy's 46. Okay? This is like Buddy. Here. This is like Buddy's 46. This defensive scheme here. This is aggressive. Jonathan Gannon has... Here, I'll show you what Gannon does. Here's Gannon's defense. Look what it is. Here's Jonathan Gannon's defense. So all of you can get a good sense of how it looks to a quarterback. Your tackles, your ends, your backers, and it's umbrella. See this zone area here? This is where quarterbacks for 19 games have been killing the Eagle defense. It's a trend now. And when you give up first and second down with 2 tackles that are not committed to playing run-stopping defense, you get gashed, then you're third and short, and that umbrella and those windows are even bigger. 3rd and 3, hey, you got more of your playbook open when you're on offense. When you're 3rd and 10, this is smaller. You could cheat more because the quarterback is going to do what Brady does. Hit the slot, go to the seam, or a running back. Your percentages of plus 25. This guy is afraid of shit, man. He is totally afraid of shit. He's more afraid of the plus 25 instead of the 14-play drive. Gannon says this to you. If you want to go 12 plays and score on us, have at it. I'm not giving up the big play strike. So then you have this big opening gaping hole here. This is Gannon's alignment. Watch it on film. And you got players that are still, get this. And when you play a defense like this, I'm going to show you this too. This guy here, this guy here, this guy here, this guy here. The X's are new players in the defense. That's where the Vikings are going to attack. You see those X's? They're going to attack those new guys. Look how many places you can go to. 2 guys on the right side, middle of the field, one of the corners. And it's not because they're bad. It's because they're new. Listen, I've been around some of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time. And I've talked to the Monty Kiffins, the Jim Johnsons, the Buddy Ryans. Buddy came down and taught Jerome and I how to play the 46. What do you think we played at Miami with Jerome Brown? It was a version of the 46. I played that defense. I had 100 tackles in that system in 1 year. I know what it's capable of doing. But again, look, and I'll say this to you, and to people today, the league is different. It's harder to play defense today. I'm not going to get away from that comment, okay? Brian's like, Sills, your paperwork ain't cutting it, man. Grumble says aggressive D is more fun to watch and probably better move 70% of the time. But I have no problem with big play, 12 play time, sucking D with a 17-point lead. Okay? So you had a 17-point lead. You were up 31-17, and then you allowed the defense to come rolling back. How'd that work out for you? Okay? Big Sills. It's the new generation. Now, I think it's the way defense is being played today. Okay? Big Sills, get a whiteboard and break down plays and shit like this more. Joshua says Jimmy Johnson's 43 is legendary. Yeah, and you know what we used to do, Joshua? Jerome and I would go in a 3 and a 1. And what we would do is if we were on the one technique, we would shade it. And we would get penetration. Jimmy's 43 is a penetrating 46 type. We just didn't drop a guy on a true bear front to put a guy on the nose, but sometimes we would line up on the nose to give the O-line a different look. It's like a chess game out there. Sometimes we would run around a block, run in front of a block, line up on the nose, shade them, tilt them. There needs to be more creativity with your tackles too. Those guys don't move around enough. And I wonder if that's from the coaches telling them not to. I don't see a lot of freelancing in there. Dude, you know what happens when here, let me show you this. And I'm going to take a time out here in a second. But let me show you what happens. Do you know what Jerome used to do in Philly? Drove guys crazy. Guy like Crawford Kerr or Mike Munchak told me what Jerome would do. So Jerome would line up in that Buddy Ryan Bear defense. You know what he would do? He would just run around the block sometimes, no technique. And Buddy let him do it. Why? Because when you're an old lineman and you're sitting here and you're properly playing technique and your idea is to get front side so that you can hook, slip, and scoop to get up to the backers and into the secondary like you see Jason Kelsey do. Master at it. You know what Jerome would do? This guy would be here and he would go dart. Jerome would let him do it. He'd come around the backside, make a play on him. And he's how many times did you see Jerome Brown back in the day in the backfield making plays? It's because he ran around the block. The next time you get in line and you're the guard, Jesus, you don't think he's going to run behind me again. You now have slowed that thinking process of the guard up. Because then the guard's going to go, man, this crazy-ass guy could run behind the block again. I can't have him making TFLs. Worst thing to do to an O-line is what? What you saw on Sunday, what the D coordinator was doing, blitzing every down and having penetration. This thing is a chess game. This thing is a chess game. Okay? It's a chess game. Some topics I got here. Justin Jefferson. Jalen Hurts. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.